Hello, I'm Tio. This is the Living Workshop. So today's Monday, the 5th. So happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy May 4th. If you're a Star Wars guy or girl or nerd or whatever. If you're drinking tequila, which is pretty much the only alcohol that I ever really drink anymore when I do decide to drink, which isn't that often anymore, it would be that or mezcal. So if you do that, I guess today's a cool day for you because you get to go do that and eat tacos and everything else and celebrate the independence of Mexico, which I'm pretty sure that's the whole point of Cinco de Mayo, not a bunch of well-off white people getting shit-faced at a Mexican joint while the Mexican people are working behind the bar. Sorry, that was kind of judgy, but I didn't. No, whatever. Do whatever you want and enjoy your life. It's the point of life. So, okay, all right. So today is going to probably be a little bit longer of a morning meeting. Don't worry. I've got cool stuff to show you. I'm going to show you the substrate bags that we inoculated this week. And then I'm also going to show you the updated version of the No Smell Compost Bucket that if you're following along, I think I showed it to you a little bit last week. I've since made the next improvement to it. It's a little bit sleeker, nicer. So I'm going to show you that. We're starting to use this one now and taking the other one not out of rotation, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give it to maybe I'll see if my neighbor Keith wants to use it for his if he wants to keep compost. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll show you all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. But first, we're just gonna go back through. So I didn't do any videos or anything this weekend. So I did make one. I made one outside, and I used the cool drone, and I kind of like showed all the stuff that we had updated, how the backyard's been coming along, but there was no audio to it. And then the rain started, so we didn't get that done. Well, I did get it done. It didn't make it out. Didn't make it out of the ether. So does that matter? Does that count? That still counts, I would think. Whatever. Okay. So, anyways, I gotta give you a little recap of what we did last week. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I'm gonna talk about what we got planned for this week. But first, 3 things I'm grateful for. Got pretty far in there. Got 2.5 minutes in there before I did that. Okay, so 1, I'm grateful for. It's gonna sound corny, but I'm just grateful for good people doing good work. Sometimes it's not valued as much as making an ungodly amount of money or being a clown or being some hot person or being an actor or all those other sort of famous business person, all those people that seem to make way more money and sometimes have to do questionable things in order to make said money. So I'm grateful for good people that have good values and principles, and they kind of work on that. I think in the long run, that stuff wins out and is more beneficial to the soul than the money stuff. The money stuff seems to be quite hollow in my assessment. But I'm not saying don't get it or do it. I'm just saying that if that's the only thing that you're doing, that you're going for, I don't know whether or not that's gonna work out in the end. But either way, whatever. Make your choice. Do your stuff. Okay, so yeah, so I'm just grateful for good people that do good stuff. I know it's difficult to do. I've met quite a lot of them over the past 5 years traveling in the permaculture and all these sorts of interesting places. I end up finding all these great, amazing people that, I mean, I'm getting the little shivers talking about it because it's cool. It's really cool. It's really cool when you watch the news and you're in regular reality and you see all these people doing stuff and it's easy to think nobody cares, nobody's doing anything, and then you bop out of that reality and you bop into these like permaculture places or these other kind of like little mini subcultures like the mushroom cult subculture or the permaculture subculture, and then you just see that there's a whole other culture that's just living and breathing and growing and developing, and doing good stuff and they're not sucked into this whole other one. So that's, I'm grateful for them. That's way too long. Okay, number 2, I'm grateful for my wood stove. It's hot. I really like the wood stove. I really like the wood stove, and so it's been getting hotter and warmer outside, which is great. But then I don't get to use the wood stove, and I do kind of like using the wood stove. It adds a nice ambiance. So, but it got cold. It got cooler the last couple of days, and it's going to be cool for a little bit before it gets warm again. It's probably the last cold snap up in Maine. So then we can plant stuff outside, which is great. But you got to turn on the wood stove every once in a while. And so I turned it on the other day. I have it running today. I like it. It's a good feel. So I'm grateful that I get to do that while I still get to do it. Because it's going to get too hot. Jed's not going to want me. Turn on the wood stove when it's hot outside. Makes sense. Okay. And number 3, I am grateful for a sense of humor. My sense of humor, other people's sense of humor, the fact that there is humor in the world, and that because we have that, we can alchemize shitty situations, not great situations, into humorous things. So it really is a really great trait to have. So if you can't make jokes. And it also shows you smart. Shows you smart. You can think of something in a different way. You can kind of, whatever. Okay, so that's the 3 things that I'm grateful for. The interesting thing that I'm going to show you is, what do we got? We're at 6 minutes. Whatever. The interesting thing that I'm going to show you is the No Smell Compost Bucket. So I'm going to get up over here. So this right here was our original. Well, this is probably like the 3rd or the 4th or maybe the 5th or 6th. I'm not even sure. Version. So we've got a top. This is a carbon filter. We've got some holes there that allows everything to breathe, which is what we want. We want lots of air circulation. And then we have these little hooks in here that hold a basket. And this is a felt basket. You know, you can grow stuff in it. So I can just put my head in there. There's food in there. You know. I'm a weirdo, but it doesn't smell bad. And the reason why it doesn't smell bad is because if you look down here, we'll change this out, but this stuff doesn't even smell. That doesn't even smell. I got a little bit on my lip. I don't really, okay. But it's not bad. So the general principle is that if you let air get to this stuff, then it won't go anaerobic and it won't smell gross. So we've got this version. So we've got these here to hold it up. Want a little bit of a different version. So this is version 3. So sleek, so nice, so cool. Maybe the holes will be bigger. Whatever, it's fine. They kind of blend in. But still that same thing. It's a little smaller now, a little bit more sleek. And then we've got this in here. Only the added bonus is it's a little bit more form-fitting there and there. You'll see. That's that. And then this goes here. And then what we have here is that these, when you look at that, it's a magnet. So you can just drop it back in, and it'll kind of hold everything right where it's supposed to go. You just put your food scraps in there. Oh, right, yeah, you can't see down under past there. Yeah, so you put your food scraps in here. Then you close your top back on, like so, in your kitchen. Then, at the end of the week, pop that top off. You just pull this thing out. You look in there to see how that's going. That's probably maybe a little wet, but not that bad. You're going to take this. You're going to walk it out to your compost pile. Dump it. You just dump pieces of plastic on the ground. And then you're going to come back in and you're just going to drop it back on there. That's all you're going to do. You're going to be good. And then if you're hanging around with me, I'm going to come to your place. And I'm going to take this from you. And then I'm going to give you another one that has been inoculated with beneficial microorganisms, bacterium, and all sorts of jazz, so that your compost bucket couldn't smell gross even if it wanted to, because there's too much of good bacteria in there doing their thing already. There's no space for the bad stuff to get in there. And bad is a relative term. I don't mean it's actually literally like bad. It's part of life. It's a cycle. You need anaerobic bacteria to break down some things. It's just that it doesn't really do what we want it to do for how we operate. So that's all. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah. So that's the new version of the compost bucket. I think I'm gonna make a short little vid, just explaining that up in and of itself. Maybe today. I don't know. I'm realizing that by me having to say all this stuff out, I end up realizing when I don't do the things that I say that I'm going to do. I do a lot of other things, so, that was the thing. Like, I was looking back at the week. We did really well. We did very minimal interneting and, like, social mediaing. It was nice. I read a whole book. That was cool. It's called, like, The Art of Mimetics. Some sort of weird, sort of esoteric-ish esoteric internet book. So, very interesting and eye-opening. But yeah, so I got all that done. So I did notice some things. I noticed the feelings of when I kind of wanted to just like sit back and scroll on my phone, which is an interesting feeling to feel that like bubbles up like as that, like it's like a behavior that's bubbling up in me that's like kind of like a reaction to something, so, or to like the environment or to boredom or whatever. So I think it's better to get a hang of that. I think that a lot of us might kind of have that similar thing, but I don't know. This is just me that I'm working through. So it was interesting. It was an interesting experiment. I think I'm gonna continue it on. I did give myself little times, like on the weekend, to look at it. It was kind of engaging. I ended up looking at and reading like long form things anyways, so it wasn't like I was just. But I do notice how much more it kind of seeds my headspace with kind of like I'm start thinking about shit that I can't do anything. Excuse me, stuff that I can't do anything about. Like why I understand that there are terrible things and there are wars in different places, and that's terrible. So obviously it's terrible. It's just right now where I am, in my space, where I am, how I can't have zero effect. I don't really have an effect on that, and that's unfortunate. But if I stay grounded here, I can be aware of that and not get sucked into it and work on the stuff that I can work on. And then eventually, potentially, I get to a point where I am in some point where I could possibly affect that. I mean, that seems wildly unlikely, but I'm just saying that's kind of the proper place. But don't pretend that it's not happening. I mean, anyways, okay, I'm getting preachy. So now we're going to talk about what we did last week, because through that I end up feeling, I'm like, I don't even remember what I did last week. Did I not do anything? I feel like I didn't accomplish anything. So as opposed to me looking back through this, I wrote down all the things that we did last week based on what I had said I was going to do. We're at 13 minutes. We're going to 20 minutes. Okay. So what did we accomplish last week? So last week we set up the levitate stand. So we broke all this stuff down. Oh my God, yeah, we did do a lot. We broke all this stuff down and reset this stuff back up here in a different arrangement. I see I already forgot about that. Set up outside, and we set up pretty much what the stand will look like. So we did that. That was a big thing because we were kind of delaying that. Neither of the two of us wanted to do that. So we got that done, so that was a big win. The photos, they came out great. And then I also submitted the form to them. There was some weird thing after I submitted it where it's like, dude, there was a previous version that was before this one that's more filled in. And then I was like, what? I already filled everything in. I wrote everything out. I wrote out like, I don't know, like a heartfelt sort of written thing about the stuff. And who knows? I don't even know if it went through. So I emailed the photos anyways, and then I emailed them like yesterday or Saturday to be like, hey, did that thing get through? Because it would be a shame if I didn't follow up on it and it didn't get through, and then that doesn't happen simply for something silly like not following up when I had an intuition about something. So, but we got that stuff done, and we'll hear back. We got the fungal matters. Those sweet people over I think they're over on Patreon or whatever. I watched 4 hours of the videos. I'll probably watch another 2 hours of them maybe sometime this week. But I wanted to get the PDF because it has like a bunch of good information about making substrate blocks and, well, making kind of micromaterials. So it gives a lot more good, a lot of information about making micromaterials, which is helpful for me, so that I don't have to start at the beginning or just kind of like slowly work away. If they can help me with that, that's amazing. That's great. So I feel like I should share that with you guys. So they're called Fungal Matters. Looks like they're two nice ladies that are scientists or an artist and in a collective. So yeah, okay. So we got that. So that was good. We turned some bowls. I think we turned a mushroom. Couple bowls. We're at like 90 now. That's really great. One of my friends' brothers, who's also a friend, he reached out. He wants to buy one of these mushrooms from me, so that's cool. So that means, okay, we're bringing in a little bit of money now. Okay, cool. Little by little, bit by bit. Okay, we got set up for the talk at the Rhode Island Mycological Society. I talked to Allie. I filled out a bunch of things. And then I also wrote up the blurb for what the talk was going to be about. And then I sent her the bio of me and did all that stuff. And that was website stuff. And it involved me talking about myself. So I delayed that. But I got it done. But we got it done. So that's good. We got the bags. Bags showed up. Small bags, big bags. That's great. And then we also made it to North Spore to get said grain. And then we also went on the trip. We went to the Herbally Bicurious or something like that. I forget what the name is. Jen knows it. And the Pirate and what was it? Pirate Witch, yeah. And Rooted Heart Cafe. So we went and traveled all along and went to those great places. That was cool. We pressure cooked more grain, as we normally do, at least once a week. And we pressure cooked some substrate. And then we inoculated all the small bags that are going to be for the Rishi Alchemist kit. And we inoculated some of these bigger bags with chestnut. Mostly all chestnut, because we had chestnut grain and it was ready to go, and we got to grow it. So that's kind of one of the things. And now we're in that phase. So you can see right here, you can kind of start to see some of this growing. I'll probably just leave this here. So over the course of the week, you'll see it start continuously growing. If it disappears, you'll probably understand that it probably got contaminated, and that's what happened. So, but ideally that will not happen. So, yeah, we also got the beets, as opposed to soy hull. There's a person that I found online that says he uses hardwood pellets, beet pellets that you can get from like Tractor Supply for horses, and then you mix in a little bit of bran. It's a little bit different than the Masters mix, but he's saying that he gets good results from lion's mane. So I bought that, and we're kind of trying that a little bit. We didn't have the bran right at first, so I just put a little bit of soy hull at that same ratio. So we'll see. I didn't do any. I marked them on these big bags, so we'll see. I did them with chestnut, so I probably should have done them. Should have done them with something I know what's going to come out. Would have been nice to do it with lion's mane, because I would be able to know, and then I'd be able to see the difference in weight. But such is experimentation. Such is living in the moment. Such is living out on the edge of creativity. Okay. We got the little small bags. We did the wine cap stuff outside. So we took our wood ash, and man, we did a lot. Okay. So we took our wood ash, and we found out, because we didn't have lime, and ideally we would have pasteurized the stuff with lime, but we didn't. But we had wood ash, because I have a wood stove, because we have a wood stove, and yeah, and so we brought the pH up. And we let it sit in there for about 24 hours, probably even a little bit more. We drained the water out, and then we put that straw into. Ideally, I would have had like big, long, clear plastic bags. Didn't have that, but what I did have was trash bags. I did have white trash bags, not even the black ones. The black ones would have been better, but we only had the white ones. So we put them in the white. So we put them in the white ones, and we took some of the 9 cap grain spawn, and we put it in there. So we let them sit outside for a little bit, and then it started getting a little cooler. So I brought them inside and put them in a tote. They're over here by where my wood stove chimney is. Pretty warm over there. So we're warming those up. So that's going on. So we did that as well. We also put up fencing around our garlic that we planted last fall. That's coming up now. So the chickens and the dogs and the humans don't step on it. Yeah, we did a lot of outside organization. We also finally turned the new compost pile. We turned it because it had been sitting at the center was at about 120, 130. It was active for about 4 or 5 days. That means time to turn it. So I turned it. It was a little bit of annoying because I didn't have the pitchfork. But we still did it, and my lovely Jen got a pitchfork. So now we'll have to take a cool farming photo with the pitchfork. But so we got that turned. Now the whole thing's kind of pretty much nicely active. So that's good. We're on day 3 of it being at temp. So that's good. The microgreens. We got the microgreens tested. We got the seeds put down, and we used coconut. We used the dehydrated cocoa core. So that worked well. It seems like it's working better. I'm still trying to figure out what's up with the taste. It doesn't that it tastes bad. It's just the radishes taste bitter. I think they're supposed to taste spicy. They do taste a little spicy, but just like I don't know. Maybe we mix some Pomix in there. I don't know. We'll see. It's not bad though. It's good, and it probably trying to sell you on it. Yeah. And they got all the good. They're healthy for you. So my thing's like, if it tastes good, if it tastes not great, but it's really healthy for you, I'm fine with it. Some people aren't. So we're gonna try and work on that. But we made good progress because now we've got that stuff, and that coconut core is much more versatile in our system than the cocoa core mat that we started with. So glad with that. Also, there's a free course on agar work that I found from a person who does it. I'm not sure whether or not they want everybody to know about it, so we're just gonna keep whatever. Doesn't matter. But anyways, I found a cool mushroom course that I'm gonna take. I took it once. I was watching it on the computer, probably about 2 years ago now. I think I fell asleep halfway through it because I was watching it at night and I was laying down. It's like a whole thing. So it's cool to watch that, to be able to watch that again, and because now I have I've spun around that cycle or the spiral, and now I know quite a bit more about all that lab stuff. So I'll get more out of it. So that's what we did last week. We've done a bunch of other stuff too. We went on a couple journeys and had some good stuff. We found some new walks for Owsley. We did some good training with Owsley. Oh my God, I'm at 23 minutes. Jesus Christ. Okay, all right. What we're gonna do this week? We're gonna read. We're gonna write. We already did that today. I've got a hang session with 2 of my friends who they just got married. So we're gonna go hang out with them, celebrate with them. I gotta check. I'm waiting to hear back from Levitate to hear whether or not they got that form that I sent in. The fungi. I know that it's due the 13th. I still haven't submitted that fungi stuff for the Brooklyn, New York thing. If you can tell, I tend to do that with art stuff and things that involve me talking about myself. So, besides this, for this reason, whatever. I gotta pressure cook some more grain, make some more substrate. I've got to expand out a couple jars to get running, and I have to update somebody about that sort of stuff. I need to make racks for the grow tent. I got to turn some bowls. I have a friend that I'm supposed to meet up with for a dog walk, catch up with them. I gotta make the video of the No Smell Compost Bucket, and I probably have some computer work when it's iffy out. I could probably work on the website and incorporate incorporate the living workshop stuff into that. Probably update the Patreon with this last week's stuff, and maybe try and see if I can get some more stuff going on with that Home Assistant. So that is quite a lot of stuff. It's quite a lot of stuff I just did there. This video is probably going to take forever to upload, so I'm just going to get out of here now. Thank you very much for your time, for your attention, for watching this 25-minute video. Hopefully this was a little bit more engaging. I have a feeling I was talking very fast, but this is the process. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is how we get better. We get there. From 1 year from now, what will we have? If we keep doing this, quite a bit more than we would if we didn't. And so that's why we do it. Thank you. This thing's just not going to... The cool line. The cool line. The thing just doesn't even shut off. Now you guys got to get this. Now you get this funny part. This funny little after talk.